Hello and welcome to the show. You know, the liver is considered a vital organ, meaning if it fails, the consequences can be fatal. It is the second most awaited organ for transplant patients, and finding a compatible donor can take years. That's why my guest's story is so inspiring. David and Karren Manuel led active and healthy lifestyles when one day David fell terribly ill. What started as an acute liver failure diagnosis ended as a tale of faith and strength and a beautiful love story. Please welcome to the show, David and Karren Manuel. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. And so listen, I want to be very clear. For you, there was not smoking, there was not drinking. Sometimes this just happens. And when it happened to you, caught you completely off guard. Tell me your story.
It really did. So almost 10 years ago, I remember being at the casino with my mom, who was 80-some years old, and the only thing she wanted to do was pull the slot machine.
Okay.
And when I left to take a break to go to the restroom, I looked at the color of my urine, and it came out looking like Coca-Cola.
Oh, my.
And I thought, what did I eat? You know, what's going on? I didn't panic because I knew the next day I had my annual physical.
Okay.
And I had my annual physical, went there. They said for a person who's almost 50, you got the body of a 25-year-old. They checked my blood, but they didn't check my urine. That night, I went home.
But did you tell them what happened?
I told them what happened,
yeah.
But they checked my blood. They didn't check my urine. And the next day, I came back and said, hey, I had a high temp. They gave me a cup. They looked at the color of the cup. They sent me straight to ER. And from there, ER went to the hospital for 40 days in ICU, still trying to figure it out, what was going on.
So that it wasn't clear with initial tests that this was liver failure? What were you told could be going on?
So the first couple of days, we were at one hospital, and they were trying to figure out, is it his liver or is it his kidney? Which one of them? There's some problems. And then they sent me over to Piedmont Hospital because they knew then that by those tests, something was failing. Both were failing.
And Piedmont here in Atlanta for viewers watching in
That's
other
right,
cities.
Piedmont Hospital.
So 40 days. I know that there is a point, and you know, I've heard you share this story, and it is heartbreaking and inspiring. But there was a point when you were told, Karren, we should probably call for your family.
Well,
pastor
like David,
for prayer?
Yeah, like David said, it's happened so quickly. They too, at one hospital, they said the chances, the way this is looking, your liver is failing very rapidly, and we don't do transplants here. So we're going to send you to a place where if you need a transplant, they could get to it quickly. And so around day 20, 21, the doctors, after they triaged, they said, have you ever, have you thought about getting a transplant? And we were like, transplant? What are you even talking about? We know no one with a transplant. So our first thought, as they will, can probably, admit to, he was thinking, I don't want a transplant.
You did not.
I did not. I did not.
I mean, your body is failing at this point. Why did you not want?
My skin turned jet black. My eyes were fluorescent. My body was shutting down. But my mind was so positive that it didn't think anything was wrong. As a man, sometimes you think you're Superman.
Right.
And you think you're going to overcome it. But everyone was coming into the rooms, and the doctors were giving me medicine every 2 hours, shooting needles in my stomach, giving me pills. But my mind was telling me that it's going to be okay for a long period of time.
And so, you're saying, no, Karren, you're saying, listen.
So...
He was a new liver.
He wasn't okay, but because of our relationship and how it had been developing up until this point, I couldn't tell him how he really looked. And I know that sounds counter intuitive, but if I gave him that nugget of information, it would have changed his mind.
You were trying to keep him optimistic.
I
see what you're doing.
Yes,
I see what you're
because
doing.
because it was happening so fast, I would have never in my life thought that he was going anywhere.
But obviously, at some point, you made the decision, yes, go ahead and put me on the transplant. And something happened to you that I don't think I've ever heard. The next day, after you were placed on the list, you learned that a liver is available.
So there was a process. So right before I signed up to be on the organ donor list, I gave her a ring. I had a ring in my office for her because she was my girlfriend at the time. And I gave her a ring, and then I signed to be on the transplant list.
30 minutes later.
So, I mean, that's just beautiful that you
Yeah.
see something that lets you know, A, I'm going to live, and B,
Right.
I want to live with this woman as my wife.
Absolutely. It was a confirmation. And all the while, I mean, like I said, he was at death's door. So when when they give you the prognosis that your liver is failing, they give
Yeah.
you what they call a MELD score.
Okay.
So that is between 0 and 40. 0 is, okay, you're probably doing very good. 40 is,
This is not good.
This is not good.
I can't help, and I'm hearing you, but I'm seeing these proposal pictures. I have to imagine this is never the way you expected any man to propose, but I can't imagine that there was anything else but a yes.
There was
That's
an absolute
rushing
yes.
through your heart when this happens.
So when she said the male score, 0 to a 40, mine was a 38.
We're going to pause right there because we know that means it was bad. I want you to stay with us. It's coming up. You're going to meet Dr. Shawnee Clay. She is a board-certified gastroenterologist, and she's going to break down signs, the symptoms, the treatments for liver disease. I want you to stay with us as conversation continues right after the break. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really want to thank you for season 3 of Portia. It's because of loyal viewers like you that we keep getting to share this daily dose of positivity all across the country. So just a reminder, I still need you to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and tell your friends. You can catch us now in Orlando, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, and all across the country on Fox Soul. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon on Portia.